Hey guys, I have decided that since I've got today free and I can survive the things tomorrow just about sleepwalking, that I'm going to try reading for 24 hours straight, going all the way through from now, which is about 8:30ish, we'll see what time, and then all the way through to tomorrow morning. I've changed into a fresh set of comfortable pyjamas and for the day, and I've got an audiobook ready to go when I need to take breaks from actually physically reading things to do things like make food, and we're gonna see how my sanity survives the next 24 hours. First book, I have about 100 pages into Immortals by Sue Lynn Tan, so I'm gonna start with this, and it's a gorgeous, very special edition. Honestly, no, look at the naked hardcover. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is fast-paced and entertaining, and I'm loving the main character being headstrong and sort of slightly inexperienced, so try to figure out what's going on. And it should be an interesting read. Let's see how this goes. 24 hours, starting very soon. So quick check-in, it is now about 10 o'clock, started at 8:35, got a timer set to go for 8:35 tomorrow. I haven't got the actual countdown going because my phone doesn't quite go exactly as 24 hours, so we're going for that. And we are now on page 220. Good. Getting a little way through, almost halfway through the book. It's going good, quite fast paced. It's just wanted you to keep reading, keep turning the page. It's an interesting dynamic form between the two of them, which should be fun to read. But it's very much the heart of the book, very much the key aspect going through. It has got a plot that's driving through and very much makes it make sense. There's something building underneath. I feel like some sort of undercurrent that I'm missing. Well, not exactly missing, that they haven't been explained yet, you know? Anyway, so far so good, but then again it's only just 10 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, sanity intact. So I finished Immortals by Sue Lynn Tan. It's about 1:20. I'm going for old school time for lunch now, isn't it weird having break for lunch? And I'll do reviews at the end because I'm trying to spend as much time of this 24-hour reading. So I'm going to go make lunch, put on a bit of audiobook as background. I think I've got High Rise by J.G. Ballard, I think that's his name, to listen to, and we'll see what goes on after that. So we've moved on to Frontier by Grace Curtis, and it's a bit weird jump from one book from the other, because usually I leave it a bit in between to digest or think about it rather than jumping straight on and looking at another page. So that's a bit strange, but yeah, so far so good. Have a bit of a jump from fantasy to sci-fi, a bit of mythology, sometimes mythology, to a future Earth ravaged by climate change and very much against strangers and outsiders and technology. Okay, so now we are about 8 o'clock, so 12 hours in, halfway through, and we've finished off Frontier, and we've moved on to, until we grab the book, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Sutanto. A little sort of murder mystery to break it up after the slightly more desolate vibe of future climate change warning. Okay, update. I've had a bath and listened to some more of a high-rise audiobook through that. It's great audiobook, recommend. An interesting little exploration of society breaking down with the tower block. And now back to my physical book where I'm still reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, which is it's a nice little tonal shift from Frontier. It's funny, I'm not entirely sure if I should be getting family vibes from what who she's gathered as the suspects, but it's there. And it's just a nice little read. Strong character, lots with distinctive voices between the different POVs, and it's going good. And so far about 10 o'clock, I am still awake, still going. I love being able to just spend constantly doing nothing, and a lot of the day has been like just books and no interaction, which has been it's good, but it's learning to have it with like no interaction all throughout the whole thing. But so far it's been fun. We're now in the early hours and I'm still conscious, which is always a plus. I'm still reading and the sense is still making sense, which is good. I stayed up later reading before. I finished Vera. Really enjoyed it, nice little murder mystery too. And I'm thinking go for something completely different thing. I'm thinking I haven't read Hazelwood before, but I've got an ebook on my phone, so I'll try reading some of that. Just general teen genres, keep it feeling fresh, and that might help me stay awake and stay concentrating on it. It's about 1:25. I just finished reading Below Zero by Hazelwood, a little novella. I think there's a set of 3 she did, and it was one of those ones. I think it's the third, but it's the first Hazelwood I've read and enjoyed it. Good fun. And I will just going to choose another book. So I'm going to go for 7 Husbands of Hugo with a cup of tea. Sugar should help me stay awake, and this one feels like an addictive read considering how page turner Decisions and Sixes, which should be a nice one to go for book number 5 with the novellas. Totally not because book number 5. Maybe this time of the day I wouldn't reach for a new book, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It's so weird to go from one book to another like that, jump between. Such a weird thing. I mean, I'm enjoying them, but usually I digest it more, I guess. Then jump to the next one. Okay, now it's about 3 morning when I usually back up when I'm reading. And I am feeling very tired. But yeah, so far we're about 90 pages into Avenue, and it's interesting. It's good reading. I can see why people find it addictive. I'm finding it addictive. It's keeping me up at 3 in the morning. Okay, so now it's about almost 5 o'clock. And so we've got 3.5 hours to go, and I think I'm holding up okay actually. I mean, I won't be as on me tomorrow, I'll be sleeping tomorrow, but still enjoying this and actually it's actually making sense in English and everything. But yeah, I'm tired. So I survived through to about 6 in the morning and still conscious. Finished reading Evelyn, Hugo. One of those two, Hugo. And now we've got like 2 hours, just over 2 hours left. And we read just one damn thing after another by Jodi. So let's see this go. It is about 7 o'clock. I am still conscious and reading just one damn thing after another. I've been sort of thought it would be idea to go to the paperback towards the end, because if I dropped it and hit myself in the face and, concussion, bad. So, we're going for something important, but we seem to be making it there, and it's interesting. clean, very easy to read, and just, I feel like some conversation is a little beyond me at this point up when we're reaching the 23-hour mark. Almost the 23-hour mark. Well, not quite the 23-hour mark yet, but we're getting there. And we're still reading. So 24 hours, that's... I am now gonna sleep. We'll discuss books in a bit, but right now sleep, because as much as I love words, I think it have more sense out of me after a nap. But yeah, 24 hours and good stillness and sense at the end, which is good. So one nap later, I'm feeling more human and can actually string a sentence together in a coherent manner so we can talk about books. And I'm very excited to talk about them. Let's start with Immortals by Sue Lynn Tan, the first book I read in this challenge. It is set in the same universe as her Celestial Kingdom duology, a world steeped in Chinese mythology. This is set in a human kingdom which is segregated from the human realm and sort of more involved with the gods. The ruler comes to power after her grandfather's death and wants to basically gain them freedoms. They can be part of the human world which they belong and not basically be at the beck and call and whim of the gods. And this heart is very much a love story with the god of war, with sort of some interesting undercurrents. And sort of there's more going on than is necessarily told about. It's very much full of politics, and the main character is headstrong yet slightly inexperienced because she's been quite sheltered and being ill in childhood, and then she's basically asserting her right to rule and her right with all these gods where she doesn't have their power. And then there's this war coming in. Her kingdom has a treaty with the gods that they will defend this outpost, which had started them basically being segregated from the human world. Problems with them coming in and threatening them. The whole dynamic of war, and it brings in a lot of the politics of the previous war. It's got some great action scenes, action pack, keeps going, got a good pace to it, and a really enjoyable read with a gorgeous love story. She's trying to guard her heart against him, but it falls hard and he loves her completely, and it is an adorable couple in many ways. She's very much trying to be worthy of her people and of her rule, and there's a slight examination of rule and different forms of rule, and woven in there is like a little theme that isn't completely realised, but it's nice to see as a part of it, as part of her character. From, I think I was on page 97 when we started, and it's 100 pages. So 300 pages of that. Then we started on a slightly smaller book, Frontier, which is a sci-fi telling of set in the future after basically humanity and climate change have completely ravaged the earth. It's in some ways completely destroyed in areas, and that most of humanity about 3 centuries ago abandoned Earth for the stars and have an empire out there, and this whole world of space travel and exploration. But this is set pretty much completely on Earth, with the humans who have basically ancestors decided that no, they were going to stay behind on Earth. They were religious extremists who believed that Gaia was their god, Mother Earth, and that it was technology and their actions which caused all this, and that there was punishment for it, and that staying behind they forsake technology and find a way to live in this world. A ship lands, and there it is following the Kai, who is trying to find someone, and it's basically a story of love and how she is dealing with her past and trying to be a better, less violent person, even though she is very, very good at being a soldier and is a fantastic shot, but is trying to deal with in many ways, lawless, violent society without being violent, because of the woman she loved, when trying and hoping to be able to find her and find communication to be able to find the rest of the crew. But mostly Noelle, her love, which is quite sweet. It's a great book. It shows you a lot of different aspects of the society and how people have used religion to deal with the issues, and very much create a world it's very much a Western inspired sort of atmosphere, and it's just a brilliant read, really engaging. As in, it was getting later in the evening, and we read a nice little crime novel, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Sutanto, which is just had so much character. I love the characters in this, and there's multi-POV of Vera and her main suspects. Murder mystery that's full of heart. It starts with Vera Wong being stuck in life. Her child has grown up, left the nest, her husband's died, and she's got this everyday routine, very regimented, in her tea shop, which isn't doing that well, and that she's a bit worried about the future. And then she comes down one morning and finds a dead body in the middle of the shop, and so she gets out a Sharpie, draws a little line on the body, thinking, oh, this is what police do. And then when the police come, they're not too happy with her input and her desire to feed them all the tea, which, although it does sound lovely tea, love the cuppa. And so it's sort of, she decides, well, if they're not going to investigate, because they think, oh, it's an accident, it's natural causes, she is determined this is a murder, she's going to solve this murder. And so she gathers a list of suspects who then have very much a found family vibe, where she brings them all together. She's determined to solve this case, and it goes through each of their lives as they've been brought together by the not so nice guy who's been murdered. And then it's very much about them coming together and them dealing with the traumas and how Vera helps them and they help her, and they solve the crime. Very little found family vibe. And then I completely jumped genres again and read a little novella by Ali Hazelwood, the first Ali Hazelwood I've read. Books are very popular, very much STEM romances. I'm showing you the picture of it on Amazon on my computer because it was an ebook on my phone, which I'm currently recording on, so I can't show everything on there. But yeah, Below Zero by Ali Hazelwood. Romance with the main character, Hannah, has commitment issues due to self-worth issues and feeling as though people will stay with her and spend more time with her, they won't like her. During her degree, she's doing an interview with someone in the area she wants to get a job in, which is the love interest Ian. They have a pretty strong connection, instantly hit it off, but he wants relationship and taking her for dinner and she doesn't want that, so they split their separate ways. Years later, after she's finished her PhD, they meet in NASA. They have a spark back, but then there's a miscommunication and they become enemies, mainly on her side because she hates him because of what she believes about his motives. And then she starts with her trapped in a fissure in Antarctica, storm coming in, and he's coming to rescue her. And then it's then it jumps back and forth the different parts of their relationship, and it's just quite a hot, sweet little romance. A little novella, about 180 pages on my phone, nice little read, which is completely different vibe from the others we've gone through. So we've been jumping around a bit from genres, and which I think really helped with me actually staying awake, having something different, so it's not sort of lulling myself into the same sort of thing. I can stay up late reading a book, which is why I don't tend to read exactly just for bed, because then I just don't stop reading because I get invested in the book. If I could have then again had another long book in the morning and just had a long book that I was reading all the way through, which would be so maybe like a big fantasy or big historical fiction, because what format, I'm not sure. So I took the approach of doing things in different genres and different things and varying the lengths of the books and things, and trying to go for things that I felt very readable, especially in later hours, just to keep me up and keep me going, keep me very much engaged with the book. Then I went for a very addictive reading style, Taylor Jenkins Reid, because I just found Daisy Jones was such a page turner. So I thought The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Popular, it's very readable, and it's basically that Evelyn Hugo has chosen a not so well-known reporter to write her autobiography, and then it's set through her telling her story, and then it's sort of the mystery of why she chose the reporter, and the story of the seven husbands, because she's known for the star's known for being married 7 times, even though she really had a hidden love, which the 7 husbands in some way, she did love some of them, but some of them were to hide her great love. It's written quite a literary style, it's a very addictive read, and characters aren't the most likeable and nice people, but it's very much you want to hear the story and you sympathise a lot with quite a lot of decisions made. It's a good book that really was good to read in the early hours of the morning. And then we finished up with I really just love the concept of this book, Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor. It's basically historians with time travel and a tea addiction, which is that's just up my street. It's ridiculous. And it is a very bingeable book, which starts with someone coming in for an interview to St. Mary's, the department with the time travel, and basically finding out about everything, going through training, becoming part of the department, and it's a brilliant series. I can see why it's been so popular. I'm not all the way through this yet. It's just a fantastic little time travel book with putting academics in being able to find history and the chaos that often ensues, and it's very much I just love the St. Mary's department. That's most of the books I've read. I also, when going through, listened to a chunk of an audiobook I was already started, High Rise by J.G. Ballard, which is about society breaking down within a high rise. It's very stratified, people who are lower class living in lower levels, and then the higher up you go, the higher class you are, the more amenities, the higher the standard of everything. And then it's just this all breaks down, and the chaos that ensues, and it's going really well. But I'm not finished with that. I've had that going, so when I was actually reading something, wouldn't actually be able to do things like, you know, have food and just survive day-to-day life, because sometimes you just can't have a book in your hand for 24 hours. But if I'm doing a 24-hour reading challenge, I want to try and, you know, stick to the brief and read for as long as those 24 hours as possible. Although there was a couple of breaks and I was like, you know, talking to you guys. But yeah, it worked out in the end. I managed to survive and stay conscious and keep reading, and it wasn't to the point where I was just rereading the sentence like 5 times to try and understand it and going slightly delirious. I mean, I was slightly out of it and a bit wouldn't have been able to have the most sparkling conversation with me at the end, but we're keeping going still. Though I think I may want to reread a bit at the beginning of this, well, near the end of a chunk I was reading, so make sure everything went completely in, because I was getting slightly zombie-esque-ish. We made it 24 hours, something I've wanted to try and do, and thanks for sticking with me and watching it. And so, what do you think? What do you think of the books? What do you think of me trying to, you know, completely curtail my sleeping pattern? Because it's going to be fun getting back into a normal sleeping pattern after that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.